I love vacations. I love to travel to different places and do different things. I've had a lot of vacations over the years, but there's one vacation that stand out, and that was my trip to South Africa. South Africa is special to me. I went to school there. Today, I will tell you about my vacation to South Africa, where I visited the Kruger National Park, the shark cage diving, and the South African Apartheid Museum. When I was watching a TV documentary about wildlife, one thing grabbed my attention, and that was Kruger National Park, located in the Safari region, the eastern province of South Africa. The Kruger National Park was a habitat for millions of species, including leopard, crocodile, elephant. It was also a paradise for many birds, including the African grey parrot. According to Professor Kimber, a science researcher at the University of Johannesburg in South Africa, he said the Kruger National Park had enormous ecosystem that supported all kinds of wildlife. The park was established in 1889 and was open to the public in the 1921s. The distance from my hotel to the park was 25 miles, and the bus transported people to the site. The bus ran on schedule, morning and evening. Tourists who wanted to see Dura animals chose the morning bus. I wanted to see animals that were very active in the day, so I chose the morning bus. The bus fare was $15, and there was no fee to enter the park. However, there was a voluntary donation. The tour guide explained that all donations were towards saving endangered species. I donated $20. The tour guide then briefed all the tourists about the safety precautions and rules and urged all the tourists to abide by them. We jumped into a Land Rover wagon that carried over six tourists. As we drove through the park, I was amazed to see such wild creatures, leopard, hippos, and many more birds. I took a lot of photographs and video recordings. It was amazing to come close to such wild animals. The next day, I visited the Shark Cage Dive located in Cape Town. Before my visit, I've watched a lot of ocean exploration about cage diving. Therefore, a visit to South Africa Cage Dive was the right choice. There were a lot of cage diving in Cape Town, but I chose Falls Bay because it was close to my hotel and it was more popular. I got there exactly at 12 noon and the place was already packed. It was summer, so a lot of people had come from Europe to dive too. The step towards the ocean was steep and rocky. The skies were clear. The ocean was blue with a beautiful sand. There was a place for people to change over, so I hurriedly changed into my diving gear and jumped into the cage. The next thing I realized was sharks circling around my cage. It was amazing to see such animals. Whilst diving, I also saw a coral reef, another great habitat for other sea creatures. So far, I've told you about my visit to the Kruger National Park, where I saw hippo. I've also told you about the shark cage diving, where sharks circle around me. Next, I'll tell you about the South African Apartheid Museum, where I visited last. The apartheid system was institutional and segregational rule that existed in South Africa from 1947 to 1994. At the entrance of the courtyard of the museum were seven pillars for each of the seven values that has been enshrined in South African constitutions: democracy, equality, conciliation, diversity, responsibility, respect, and freedom. Inside the museum were artifacts and video recordings that explain the South African struggle known as the Epic Saga. There were also picture panels. Among one picture I saw was Nelson Mandela, and according to the museum attendant, Mandela was in prison for 27 years before his release to be the first black president in South Africa. He said Mandela was among the prominent heroes and freedom fighters who helped end the apartheid system. At the other end of the museum were South African ensembling in display, carvings, souvenirs, attires, and many more items for sale. The display at the museum was very magnificent and that one would like to spend the whole day interacting. Meanwhile, my visit back home was the next day and I needed time to prepare. So I bought one souvenir and said goodbye to the museum. The question here is, would I visit South Africa again? Yes, I would do this million times. The atmosphere was peaceful. I had the chance to see hippos. I saw sharks and coral reefs. I also learned about South African history. I've traveled to so many places, but definitely this was my best vacation. Thank you.